Would you please prefer smoking during no flight? Ladies and gentlemen, this is a non-smoking flight. Uveďte prosím opěradlo vašeho sedadla a servisní stolek do svislé polohy. Věnujte pozornost následující demonstraci záchranných prostředků. Please put the back of your seat and the table in the upright position. Těchto světel vedoucích k nouzovým východům. Nouzové východy jsou umístěny následovně 2 vpředu, 2 nad křídly, 2 vzadu. In the event of an emergency evacuation, the cabin aisle will be illuminated. The cabin crew are now indicating the location of these lights which lead to the exits. The emergency exits are located as follows: to the front, to over the wings, to the back. V kapsách vašich sedadel najdete bezpečnostní instrukce. Pečlivě se prosím prohlédněte ještě před startem. The seat pockets, you will find a safety instruction cards. Please.
Well, as you see, I basically got one eye. Well, you can see it this way. I've got one eye down, the other eye up. I look a bit like Nick Griffin. Just coming out of the good old office, and I've given it. I meant to only work till 6 today because that eye hurts. It's got swollen. But in the end, just catching up with everything. I have to use the jolly key because it's late now coming out. Okay, so I had to stop that film for a second so that I could basically lock the door. So once again I'm filming in the night, which is not ideal I suppose, but what can you do? By the time you see this, it's actually the 3rd of August. Okay, but by the time you see this, it's likely to be sometime in October, maybe November, depending on how well I get my preparations done for the new season. So, the new season being every video more than 1,000, every video after the 1,000th video and the ensuing 3 or so much. But are you going to try and aim that straight at me? I don't advise it. I'll swing my bloody thing round and hit you in the headlamps. That's one advantage of having one of these rolling things. You can swing it round with tremendous force. Mind you, it does have a computer in it, so maybe that wouldn't be the best idea. I wonder why I'm so aggressive at the moment. Maybe I haven't eaten for a long time, that's what it is. Now I'm going to eat. I'm going to eat some food. That's a great thought, isn't it? Eating food, but you have to be a little bit careful with that. Otherwise you end up eating too much. What's this message saying? Vi luka vlaku chede. I don't know, I didn't get to V yet, so I don't know what V luka means. If you know what V luka means, you can add it into the comments section. It looks like from Masarykowa na Držitu and Davice, there's going to be a lack of trains going to Davice. I didn't even know there was a normal railway station in Davice, so that's a new one on me anyway. I didn't even know I could get a train going that way. Strange character. Popped himself up on there. I don't know what he's up to there. He doesn't look like an official. Unless he's an official gypsy, of course. That's always possible. In these days of the European Union. But really what I wanted to say was, going back to the question of the new season, you're probably watching this in November, some months after I've done this, because I'm still not very far with the preparations for the new season. And question really is, what do you think of it so far? Any different? Any better? Still, you get some of these old style walking with the camera nonsense. I'm not going to move entirely away from that because sometimes I just feel the need to be walking around filming what I see. There's some people just asleep there. It's completely asleep on the benches. Maybe I should go and, since it's a new season, go and just give them a kick and see how they react. But maybe that's not fair on them. They could have like, something not quite right with them, and it wouldn't be fair to do that. Quite on top of which they might have something not quite right which is infectious. I've already got this eye issue, and that's of course bacteria that cause that sort of thing on your eye. And you get them from the fact that, okay, all year round I travel on aeroplanes, yeah, you've obviously noticed that. Sometimes I drive, sometimes I take the train, but most frequently if I come to Prague or go into any of these other more distant places, it means that I've been travelling on a he got accused of being a blazen. I've done B, so I know what a blazen is. It's like a clown, a buffoon. He accused the other guy, who was just walking along minding his own business, of being a buffoon, when he himself was an alcoholic. There's a case of the cot. What, the cot? The pot calling the kettle, not the cot calling the petal. The cot calling the petal. No! The pot calling the kettle. Black. I thought a minute to make sure that wouldn't be offensive before I said it, but I don't see how it can be. So, I could just as easily have said white, I suppose. Pots and kettles can be any colour you like, really. Anyway, maybe green. It's not easy being green. Anyway, all of this meandering means that I can't really remember what I was talking about. But yes, coming out of the station I said that the reason why I do it is just simply because sometimes I just feel the need to get the good old camera out and just record whatever I see going around me. Otherwise, you could live out your life and never record your thoughts, your ordinary thoughts, just going home from work. If you wait for something special to happen, then by the time it happens you've probably missed it. You've probably forgotten you're even carrying a camera. Because what can happen instead is that you simply get the camera out before anything starts to happen, not even expecting anything to happen, and just get talking into it. Or just walk without saying anything. And see what happens. For example, here's an interesting thing. Why did they put a hook at the end of that M? It's interesting, isn't it? Domací cukrárna a pekárna. Homemade sugar products, so I suppose that must be confectionery. A pekárna and bakery products. So there you go. You've got homemade patisserie and boulangerie. That's a nice word to say if you want to intimidate people going by. Yeah? If you think somebody might want to mess with you and you want to show that you're just unperturbed by anything, you can just go boulangerie. Yeah? that'll put them in their place, that will. Or you could get, you know, assume a very aggressive stance and go charcuterie, like that. It's a lovely evening actually. I wish I had come out earlier. I could have walked for longer, although I don't really fancy walking too far with that because it's just making a loud noise in the background. And obviously the answer is my friend is blowing in, picking it up and walking with it like that. Then it doesn't make a noise, but then of course it's heavier. But now, thanks to the fact that my shoulder, which 1 year ago I was complaining, if you remember, about my walking along and complaining about my shoulder injury, my rotator cuff, which was hurting even when I was walking normally, let alone with anything else. That's all completely okay now. But as John Calvin once, no, it wasn't John Calvin, was it? It was somebody else, some other person from around that time. Thomas, oh golly gosh, he wrote a book called The Crook in the Lot. He was a Puritan. I remember it all now except for his name. And he said, the crook in the lot, God puts a crook in everybody's lot. There's nobody that can say they've got it all perfectly nice. Everybody gets a crook in their lot. And maybe I'll be able to get hold of there should be actually a free copy of The Crook in the Lot somewhere. Maybe I'll get hold of it and slap it up on Hooliganov TV blog so that people can read it, if I remember to do so. If not, please remind me. And or if you can find it, if you see where it is, then go ahead if you're interested and read it. It's just to show that nobody's got a perfect life. Nobody's got the charmed life. Everybody has got, and this is quite intentional on the part of God, gives people little problems. We don't really know what other people's problems are. We think we've got problems, or we think that somebody else has got problems, but we don't know what the counter-balancing blessings are in other people's lives, and sometimes we don't even know what they are in our own life. So, but basically, if we were happy here, we wouldn't be desiring something else. And we haven't been put on this earth to be more than 70 years and 10 here, and whatever comes over that is, basically weakness and troublesome and difficult, as probably Moses wrote. Is it Psalm 90? And I think that was a Psalm of Moses, wasn't it? Or am I talking out of my back of my head? This time of night it's difficult to tell. But basically, if I've got that hopelessly wrong, then I'll have to put it right in the description or something. But basically, you've got your 70 years and 10, and after that, well, you're designed to go somewhere else. You've got a soul which is designed to be eternal. You can think about eternal matters. You're not designed to, spiritually not designed to simply be here for such a tiny portion of history, then just die. That's not what the marvellous thing which is your soul, your ability to communicate, to think, to feel, to understand, to imagine, to hope, to believe, to love. These things didn't come about just so that you could live for 70 years or 80, 90, 100 maybe for lucky years and then snuff it. Okay, obviously you do snuff it, but there's a promise in the Bible of the resurrection, and Paul says if there were no resurrection, then Christians would be the most miserable of all people, because all our hope is really in the resurrection, in a different world. Oh, it's a beautiful whale shark. You see, I personally believe they'll be there, these lovely things. But I believe, personally, that this is not a biblical belief. You can take it or leave it. I suggest you make your own mind up on that one. Believe what the Bible says, but what I add to it, because of the fact that I've got various sentimental notions, you don't necessarily need to pay any attention to at all. There's a very strange thing there, with like crabs playing the lute. If you can see that one in the middle. Very strange. I'll probably get taken to task for copying other people's copyright things now, but never mind, just showing what's on TV. And basically, lost the track again. I personally believe that that fishes and birds and normal land animals will be able to be with all of them. We'll be able to swim underwater as if we were on land, and we'll be able to fly as well, and hover up into the air with everything under control, and be able to control how high we go, the speed we go. We can go very fast, much faster than here. We can go slowly. We're all connected. We're all at home over the whole of heaven, and there are beauteous places there that make the best of earth pale into insignificance. And there you'll be able to go into pools, you'll be able to look at them from the top and also go inside them and sit down, and around you will swim fish. And if you're a fish keeper, then the fish that you had in your tanks now will come up to you and be friendly with you. They'll be understanding of your failures as a fish keeper, hopefully. But those of you who've been deliberately setting Oscars against piranhas and things like that, just for a stupid YouTube this versus that video, I mean, those people are, well, for a start, it'd be a question of whether they're there in the first place, because people like that, they seem to be deeply unregenerate to me. But basically, if they are there at all, then it's going to be embarrassing for them, isn't it, that they have to now, you know, face up to the fact that there are certain fish that will want to come up to them and nibble their ears in an aggressive way because of the fact that, wake them up, just because of the fact that they weren't nice to them on Earth. And other people will say, well, you know, you're getting your comeuppance now. But it won't be nasty, because those fish also will have gone on to a better place, and they'll understand human failure, I hope. So it says the lion will lie down with the lamb. People in paradise, yeah? People often are asked, well, will there be your cat and your dog with you in heaven? And people say, oh no, animals don't have souls. Well, anima means soul, actually, so it shows what you know about the Latin language. Well, actually, you know, if the lion lies down with the lamb in paradise, then that means that there are lions and lambs there. And if there are lions and lambs there, then evidently they must have souls. And therefore, your cat and your dog, they're going to be there too. And all the more your children, even the ones that were died in the womb because you aborted them, they might have a few things to say to you as well. So, keep it real, ladies and gentlemen. I'm home now. Here in Prague we have the White Nights at the moment. As you can see, it's 25 to 1, but it's all white all around. Still very bright.
Он такой был один, крупный волк. Долго стаю водил на охоту, и ловили его, был бы толк. Но он только выл на болотах. Сколько было облав и погонь, сколько он уходил от капканов. Он матерый вожак, ты не тронь. Ему вольных степей не хватало. У нее просто был малый рост, но она была белой волчицей. Он ее полюбил. Вот вопрос, у волков это может случиться. Он гонялся за ней по степи. Они в белом снегу кувыркались, и когда было нужно идти, то друг к другу они прижимались. Снова за снег зацепилось холодное солнце. Снова степь ярко окрасил рассвет. И вдалеке, где горят бледно-желтые кольца, волчий, немного размытый, застыл силуэт.
Veškeré elektronické přístroje musí být v tuto chvíli vypnuty. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now ready to land. Please check once again that you are properly fastened. All electronic devices must be switched on.
Вот однажды зимой на заре она прямо в капкан угодила. Он прилег рядом с ней на земле. Стая быстро вперед уходила. После долгие дни на снегу он смотрел, как она умирала. Что ж, вот так он достался врагу, а любовь его жизнь забирала. Когда люди к капкану пришли, два недышащих тела лежали у него и у ней на груди, словно слезы снежинки дрожали. Снова за снег зацепилось холодное солнце. Снова степь ярко окрасил рассвет. Вдалеке, где горят бледно-желтые кольца, волчий, немного размытый, застыл силуэт.